Hi everybody. So this video is for my friend Jane. A lot of people are adopting or buying different types of reformers. She wound up getting one from a friend of hers, and it's now in her basement, but she's never done Pilates before. So when it comes to the reformer, I have one behind me. My reformer is Peak. I've have lots of experience with balanced body, with Grotz, with techno Pilates. So I'm more in the classical Pilates field, but I definitely know quite a bit about them. So what you want to make sure is that you see some general things set up. I can't move the camera around to show you everything, but I want to make sure that you have a non-weighted bar. So this should be like a wooden dowel. And you can see when I hold it in my hands, it's just a little bit wider than my shoulders. So it's not super wide, okay, or super long. And that's set down we call this the well. It's nice to have one of these things. It's called a sticky pad. It's a little bit like a yoga mat. So if you don't have a sticky pad, I suggest that you take an old yoga mat or a slip pad for your a rug that goes underneath your carpet so it doesn't slide, and you cut out a clean piece of that and you use it. It should be about maybe 12 to 18 inches long, and I'd say maybe 10 inches wide. All right, on top of that, some reformers come with different types of hooks. Some are already looped that have a combo that's a handle that also has a second loop around it. So it kind of looks like this, where it's got a fuzzy handle for your hands and then a longer loop, and that's going to be for your feet. Mine doesn't. Mine has extra loops, and those will wind up being the ones that you use for circles and frogs. So you should have two of those. And over at the other side of the reformer, you'll see that the foot bar is in the upright position. So whatever position that allows you to lift your bar up, some people have locking mechanisms on the side to lift them up and have to unlock them to lower them. It's a little of a pain to do it that way, but once you've done it a bunch of times, it kind of becomes an automatic situation. So we do the same exercises for beginner repetitively. The point of doing the same series is to help clients from the very beginning learn the basic movements, not just to extend the legs and bend the knees, but also learn the names of the exercises, learn the transitions in between the exercises, and also learn how to position your body properly, because if you learn how to position your body properly when you do beginner exercises, it's super duper easy to transition into intermediate and sometimes into advanced work and not feel like you're doing something all of a sudden that you've never done before that's brand new. You go, oh, this is so similar to that exercise. Why didn't you just tell me to do it like that? And that's exactly the point of good teaching and making sure that we make the connections. So unfortunately, in order to help this whole setup make sense, rather than having the camera set up where you're looking at my feet and staring up my body, I thought that I would set the camera up on this side. And in this way, when I set my feet up on the foot bar, you can see it when I reach back for the straps and the handles. You could also see that. And you can see everything that goes along in the well. A lot of what happens is kind of, in my opinion, behind the scenes, behind the shoulder blocks. From a teaching perspective, from the client's perspective, obviously they're thinking from where their face is and their brain is all the way down to their feet in the opposite direction. So keep that in mind, that this is more a way to help you understand what to do on the reformer. I'm not going to do full repetitions, just to make sure that you can maybe stop and start your video as you're watching this and write down notes, and write down how many reps, and write down perhaps how many springs, because my springs on my reformer might be different than your springs on your reformer. On my Peak, I have 5 springs. 2 are heavy, red, 2 are lighter, yellow, and 1 is very light blue. So I put on 4 springs. I usually use 2 yellows and a red and a blue, and I leave the other red off. I don't like to build up too much tension in my neck. And this isn't about the legs. This is about how much that you can work shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip, including your glutes and your inner and outer thighs, and make sure that your pelvis is neutral and stable. So no matter what you do in a twisting, moving action, if you're a runner, if you're do cycling, if you play baseball, volleyball, if you just like hiking and doing various exercises, even swimming, this really helps you understand from a point of view how to work the body in a very strong and central way, so that as the arms are moving and the legs are lengthening behind you, everything else is just really like engaged in a point to optimize your body to the maximum potential that it has. And that's why a lot of professional athletes love to use Pilates as their go-to to keep them in absolute primo shape. All right, so it's hard to understand that when you start. Some people get a light bulb that goes off after 3 to 6 months of practicing while they're doing their other sports, and they all of a sudden